back then. You rejoin us with the game at Hampden Park about to get back underway. Ireland lead by a goal to nil thanks to a fantastic strike from John McGinn with a bullet finish into the far corner from a set piece. And talk about springing a surprise to do so. It was a fine performance and really enjoyable first 45 minutes. Myself, Tom Hill and Paul Szczerbakowicz have done all the action for you. We've got all the opportunity to do the same. Change in the first half saw Taylor replace Tierney due to a head injury, and we hope he's okay for not only tonight and the rest of the international break. And I'm sure Arsenal fans listening will have the same thoughts as Scotland get back on the ball with McTominay in midfield. So we'll get you the teams in a second. As Scotland are charging forward, Taylor stops that with a very poor pass, which Doherty intercepts, and now he sets off on his way. He's put a Scotland player on his backside. He's charging forward. He pokes it forward into the penalty area, into the feet of Parrott, who's having to drag it back. Momentum's evaporating by the second, and Ireland go back towards Collins inside the defensive unit. They go back into Doherty, and in fact to Parrott, and Collins takes the challenge and rides forward in towards Obamfemi. Wants to 1-2 Collins. Incredible to see a centre-back charging forward with such confidence. It's out to McLean. And nearly a minute into this second half, and Ireland pushing for a second. McLean shrugs off the attention of a defender. Ireland again, really beautiful ball in behind from Cullen. Now a chance to cut it back. Oh, it's an awful cutback. Scotland get to it. They hook it clear. So the teams, Scotland go with Gordon, Taylor, McKenna, Hendry, Hickey, McGregor, McTominay, Christie, McGinn, Armstrong and Dykes. As for Ireland, it is Bazunu, Collins, Egan O'Shea, McLean, Doherty, Cullen, Malumbi, Knight, Parrott, Obamfemi. This game started like the first half finish, Paul.
Absolutely, yeah, with a ranging run from Nathan Collins, of all people, getting towards the edge of the area, joining in on the attack. But Ireland have got to be careful because Scotland are going to be pushing to try and get this equaliser. As we know, Scotland are 5 points clear of Ireland with just this game and one more round of games to go. So if Ireland could hold on for the win, it just makes things a bit more interesting for that final night.
Yes, it certainly does, as Armstrong gets it and gives the ball back to McKenna. It's back into Gordon. And out wide it goes towards Hickey. So Ireland need to start the same intensity. Headed forward by Dykes. That's what I want to see from Dykes, taking the game by the scruff of the neck. You're about to say something, Paul.
Yeah, I was going to say that absolutely that Scotland have just got to be that little bit more progressive. There's a little bit of pushing and shoving there between Taylor and Malumbi. I expect the game could get a little bit more physical in this second half, as well as perhaps Ireland are going to just try to slow Scotland down if they feel as though the home side are starting to get into some sort of attacking possession. But yeah, we need to see Dykes dropping off a little bit deeper to help his side out in possession, but it's got to go both ways. So when Scotland are pushing forward and Dykes has the ball and he's holding it up, he needs players to actually play off, as the referee just didn't like that little bit of pushing and shoving between Malumbi and Taylor. So he's telling the two of them just to calm down.
Yeah, I like to see the passion. That's what you want to see from a game of this magnitude, as Christie gets it. I think a player that when he got the ball in a few minutes in the first half, he looked good, but possibly Scotland's most quietest player. Armstrong, we'd like to see a little bit more of as well. And that's what the bit we mentioned earlier. I was quite critical of Dykes. I thought his first touch was so poor. His passing likewise. But when you look at the options he got from out wide, did he get a single cross to attack?
He didn't. You couldn't say that he had a clear-cut jump. We had that one effort which was on the keeper's near post, which was charged down, but didn't really have a clear sight of goal apart from that. And that's something that Scotland have got to try and provide for him in this second half if they're going to be looking to try and get back into this game. But Ireland, they were pressing in the first half, and they're pressing straight away at the start of the second.
Hickey's got to the ball now, and he goes back inside to his teammate in Hendry. They're just going through the motions. Scotland, as Taylor gets it. He probably needs a few minutes to settle into the contest as well. It can't be any good for him to just get a few touches and then have to go back on himself with a stoppy start to the second half. Here it's progressive. That's better from him. He gets it down the line to Christie, who's got in behind. Scotland coming forward. Cut back a header. A chance, and it's in. And Scotland level. Beautiful team move. And it's Hendry for the centre-back position up front to score. And he heads home. It's a striker's finish. And finally, there is Ryan Christie at his best.
Absolutely, Ryan Christie at his best. And it's another great goal from a centre-back. This time it's Scotland with the equaliser through Jack Hendry, but it's good work down the left here from Taylor to get the ball into Christie. Not enough done to try and stop Christie. He just takes on Doherty, and you've got to say that the marking from Ireland, for all the pressing and all the hard work, the marking is non-existent. Maybe because it was Hendry, they weren't expecting him to be in that position, but he's got enough time to see where the ball's going, takes a step to the side and heads it. A really good header as well into the bottom corner, but nobody tries to stop him.
Yeah, it's a good finish. And how often do we see a game where two centre-backs have scored and they're two very good finishes? I mean, Bazunu's got absolutely no chance.
Absolutely no chance at all. And if anything, the Hendry finish perhaps is that bit more impressive than Egan's, because although it was a great strike from Egan, but that was from a corner. You'd expect to see a centre-back up for a corner. But Hendry, just in an open play, took the gamble to get into the penalty area, and it absolutely paid off.
Yeah, it's back into Tierney. Now it's into the feet of McGinn. McGinn goes down the line looking for a pass, and he gets a decent bit of play, decent bit of territory. It's now into the feet of McGregor. And back to Taylor. 50.5 minutes gone. Scotland 1, Ireland 1. And just what we want to see from Scotland. A quick fire response, Paul. And the team talks clearly worked. And I'm not saying Stephen Kenny's side have thrown it away, because I think overall that was good work from Scotland. But all that talking at half-time and then 5 minutes later you're back level. Yeah,
I think he'll be frustrated, Stephen Kenny, that his side have conceded the goal that they have. It was a good ball from Christie, it was a great header, but they could have done more to stop the cross, and they certainly could have done more to mark Hendry in the box. So there's certainly plenty for Ireland to think about there, but they need to get back on the positive sort of frame of mind that they had when the game was 0-0 and when they were 1-0 up. They've got to try and press on Scotland, because Scotland will still feel as though they can go on to win this game, and that might just benefit Ireland as a loose ball is played in midfield.
Yeah, it's a very loose ball. Malumbi gets to it. Now here's Doherty running forward. Good first touch into the box. He comes, turns, left-footed strike coming. Oh, it's an awful effort. It's such a bad effort from Matt Doherty, and it's no wonder he puts the shirt over the face. So much potential, Paul.
It's great work there from Malumbi to win the ball, and then he gets it to Doherty. And I mean, he has scored goals like that for his club before. Although he is a right footer, he can certainly cut in and hit it with his left. But he's got two strikers within passing distance there. He just got to play it square to one of them, and he goes alone. And it was a very poor effort.
Yeah, just a deflating commentary booth, because I expected that net to not bulge, but at least a keeper to make a save. And as you say, it was so fluid. It was such a great bit of build-up. He runs so naturally with the ball, Doherty. Collins doesn't run very naturally. He's been dispossessed by Dykes. Gets it back for Scotland, pokes it wide, and it's out towards the right-hand side. Here is McGregor. McGregor gets it wide again, and trying to go forward with it. He has to go backwards instead, and it's into the feet of McKenna. Back out to Hickey. Hickey now has it turning on the inside. Oh, it's a good ball into the middle of midfield, but it's Christie that's gone out there to try and help out. Good ball from McGregor. McGinn's got plenty of time and space. He's going to go for goal. Left-footed strike. He whips it past the post, but it's there to be hit. John McGinn, I don't think out of everybody in this stadium, Paul, is going to let that opportunity pass him by.
No, I mean, there was a chance that he could have thought to try and play in Dykes. It was just at the edge of the area. But as you said, I think McGinn in that sort of position with that much open space in front of him, I think he'll be a bit disappointed, actually. Now that we see the replay, he had so much time and space around him, he could have perhaps made a better effort there.
Yeah, I don't think you've been that critical, to be honest. Someone of his standards. I still think he might have scored one of the best goals I've ever seen in the Championship for Aston Villa, when it hit underneath the crossbar and bounced in. He's not quite Ruben Neves type, where the only goal he scores.
I was about to say that if there is a better goal that I've seen in the Championship, it probably was that volley from Ruben Neves from the corner. But yeah, that strike from McGinn was an absolute thunderbolt, and here he is now getting the ball out wide to Taylor.
Yeah, ball back in towards Christie. Christie fires across the face of goal. There wasn't that many options. It was towards Dykes, but I don't think he was going to get to him. Ireland had come back in numbers. Here is McGregor. McGregor goes back in towards the midfield, and it's poked wide. Here is McGinn, and McGinn now looks further forward. It's at walking pace, and now he's actually at a standstill. He stops still, waits for a runner. McGregor gets it. 53.5 gone. Scotland 1, Ireland 1. Into the feet of Christie, who already has seen more of the ball than they did in the entire first half. McGinn goes back. But tell you what, the big difference I've noticed, and I'm sure, knowing your football knowledge, you've probably spotted it more than me and earlier than me, is Parrott and Obamfemi have barely had a sniff.
They've not been able to get into the game at all. You're absolutely right. Scotland are piling on now here with Christie down the left.
Yeah, it's a looping ball. It's over the head of Dykes, chasing it down. They will, though. It's with Hickey, who's gone very far forward. I like how Scotland have put more numbers forward in the box here now. Into midfield is Armstrong, into the penalty area. McTominay asking for it behind. Armstrong's been a bit cute there. Tries to loop it over the top and gets caught out. Here now is Scotland on near the ball from McKenna. He gets away with it. And Scotland come again. But Obamfemi and Parrott, defensively in the first half, was so hard working. Now they're on the back foot. It is with Taylor again. He stops in his tracks. He shimmies back inside. He pokes it towards McGregor. McGregor looping forward, fires the pass. It's into Dykes. Dykes gets it, and it is going to be back into Armstrong. That pass looked like it was going to go astray in towards the penalty area. They're still coming here, Scotland. Hickey going the wrong way. Back it goes in towards McGinn. McGinn again. It's all Scotland at the moment. 55 minutes gone. Ireland trying to hold their ground. McGinn pokes it to Armstrong, controls it in the box. McTominay loops it towards Dykes. Here comes Dykes, and it's headed away by Collins. Brilliant defending. It's a corner.
It is brilliant defending. You're absolutely right, Edson, because if Collins isn't there, then Dykes is a free header. It's a corner taken quickly by Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor gets it short, gets it to McGregor. They take it even shorter. It's a poor pass, and now Obafemi gets it. Now can the two strikers combine, or they try to take him out, and the advantage is given. Obafemi's gone wide. Is it offside towards Parrott? Parrott running forward on goal, shoots. Oh, it's an awful effort, and the keeper saves. He looks across in disbelief. Gordon gets a pat, but Troy Parrott should be scoring. I think the card will come out anyway for a deliberate attempt to a foul by Christie. He tried to top down Obafemi. I thought they'd wasted it. I don't know why Obafemi didn't carry on going.
I think it's a good point. I think Obafemi's already got his arms up there as if he's celebrating an assist and a goal here, but unfortunately the effort from Parrott, for some inexplicable reason, he's hit it very tame, and he's hit it straight at the goalkeeper. It's a disappointing effort from him in the end. We're seeing a close-up replay of that now. It's really poor. I mean, you've got to give credit to the goalkeeper, Gordon, because he does put his leg out De Gea style to make sure that he makes the save. But problems here for Scotland now. They had to change their left-back, Kieran Tierney, with an injury, and now their right-back, Aaron Hickey, is down on the ground.
I just want to make the point, I don't think he's been carded here, Christie. And I think that's what Ireland's players are remonstrating.
Yeah, I've noticed that in the recent past, the referees don't necessarily always book players after they play an advantage, which used to be the case, so they always did that. Obafemi's away here, and that's a deliberate foul from Christie. There's no attempt to play the ball, and as I say, unless we're going to get confirmation, a graphic to confirm that, it looks like Christie has got away with it.
Yeah, that's awful from the officials, to be honest. As Scotland are making another change, so not great news for Scotland with Hickey. We didn't see anything, which we then hope is not a muscle injury, but that's generally where you go once you don't see an injury, a tackle or something coming. We'll break off as the corner's taken. It's a really bad corner as Ireland get it to the edge of the box. Shot comes in, it's from range, it's well wide, and it is still 1-1.
It is still 1-1, yeah. Josh Cullen with the effort. I suppose he'll feel quite unlucky considering he actually got booked in the first half for a pretty tame challenge compared to what Christie had done. Hickey is back on the field for the time being, but it looks like Scotland were preparing to make a double change here. Ralston and Fraser getting ready to come on.
Yeah, so whether or not they're taking no risks and just want a fresh impetus, of course, with games coming, Hickey's now been told to go off. There is the fact that there's the World Cup to come, for certain teams, of course not for Scotland, but Premier League clubs, I'm sure, will have more of a say on risking players and they don't need to. So Ralston will just go out as a straight swap. And heart in mouths for Hickey.
Yeah, and the substitute. Yeah, and absolutely. Yeah, he's been starting every game for Brentford since the start of the season. Ryan Fraser coming on here for Stuart Armstrong. That could be bad news for Ireland because a frustrated Ryan Fraser at not starting, and we know how tricky and how quick he can be on that right-hand side.
Yeah, he's a speed merchant, isn't he? He knows exactly what he's doing in terms of getting his head down and driving forward. I like Stuart Armstrong. I think he's a very underrated player. I think he's one of those where if a Premier League club was coming up and they want a goal-scoring midfielder, he'd be a good purchase. Southampton, of course, have done well to get the best out of him, but I don't think it's been his night tonight. And Scotland with a long ball forward looking for Dykes. Free kick is ignored by the referee and Dykes told to get to his feet. So one apiece, 58.5 gone. Out wide to Doherty. Dykes looks like he's incensed by that and he's chasing down Collins and he puts pressure on him. Collins signing for Wolves, and I think a very shrewd pick-up as well.
Yes, it is. I think that the three defenders that have left Burnley, of course, Tarkowski left earlier, then you've got me and Collins joining Premier League teams since the start of this season, and they've settled very well. But Collins is a very good defender. I think we've seen that, of course, a couple of times in this game already where he's ranged forward, and he, of course, had the assist for the goal as well.
Yeah, he's one of those players that he's a lot better on the ball than perhaps you give him credit for. You don't always expect him to be as comfortable as he is in possession. As Ireland change is now going to be made, and Obamfemi is going to be replaced. He's had a good first half, but a quiet 15 minutes. And I think it's Ogbene that's coming on.
Yeah, the Rotherham United man coming on has had 4 goals in 9 appearances for Rotherham this season. So it's perhaps not quite as physical as Obamfemi, but he's still a very quick and a very tricky player to deal with.
Yeah, it's going to be played forward by McGregor. Into McGinn. McGinn's got space inside. Here comes Fraser. Fraser pokes it forward to Taylor. Taylor gets it, lays it back to Christie. Momentum slowly going away. Here is Dykes at the far post. Ireland will get the head to it. Yeah, they will. Corner coming. I did wonder if Fraser's pass could have been a bit more precise in behind, but they weighed it up and went for the shorter option.
They did, and Ireland just had a little spell going forward, but now it's back to Scotland going on the attack, and they had players over on the left-hand side. Taylor did well. Perhaps he could have just looked to try and get that ball in himself, but the ball in from Christie towards the back post, certainly putting the Ireland defence under pressure, and here comes an in-swinger from John McGinn.
Yeah, it's with McGinn now, and he has the chance to play the ball short towards Christie. Now he feeds it towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Dykes was trying to lay it off. Ireland get to it. An opportunity goes begging there, a bit sharper touch, and now here comes Ogbene will left the ball for Parrott. Scotland get to it, no free kick, and now they're charging forward. Ireland get to it first. It'll be cleared out for McLean, who scoops it down the line. It's got that frantic feel again as Ogbene chases this flick on from Parrott. McKenna gets to it first. Oh, it's a mistake from Gordon. Ooh. Oh, and he plays it straight back into the keeper's hands, who lays on it for a second, almost cradling it like a baby because he's so grateful.
He is so grateful. Hendry does well initially to get there ahead of Ogbene, but then it just seems like he's almost robotic there from Gordon. He just plays it straight in front of himself into the feet of the Ireland striker, and he'll be very glad that Ogbene wasn't expecting it and just rolled it straight back to him.
Yeah, Craig Gordon, he's been such a great goalkeeper over the years. That would have been a real calamity moment for him. It is still one apiece.
Absolutely. Makes me laugh that as soon as they that mistake, we saw the legendary Ireland goalkeeper there, Pat Bonner, who was Ireland's goalkeeper for years and years from the 80s into the 90s, a real legend in Irish football, and he would have had a little chuckle at that. Obviously would have been hoping that Ogbene could have taken more of an advantage.
Yeah, it'd have been... I think it's more of an impact shot. I don't really think he knew much about it. He's just trying to steer it back, and for him to get any sort of finesse on it and pick a spot is near on impossible. And he's done well to at least get it back on target. Ireland have got it over the halfway. They go back inside though, still trying to find a gap, and they have to go back inside to Egan, who carry this ball further forward. Doherty is way down the pitch. Malumbi has got it in stead. He floats it forward looking for Ogbene, who's made an impact since coming off the bench. He flicks it down the line. Now he's going to try and get behind. That's a free kick surely from McKenna. The card's coming out here, and Ogbene in a couple of touches has taken McKenna for a ride. He
has. As I say, he's not as physical as Obamfemi, but he's a very, very quick player, very tricky player to deal with, and as I say, I think once McKenna realised he was getting past him, he went all in, he tripped him and then grabbed his shirt. He thought, well, I'm going to get booked here anyway, so I might as well make sure that there's no advantage here, that Ogbene definitely goes down, which he does, and now a good chance here for Ireland, a free kick right at the edge of the area.
Yeah, and here now is Cullen to take it, 62.5 gone. And Cullen plonks the ball down and assesses where he's going to place this. He looks back across the box. It's one of those where it's such an awkward angle. He has to get loft. Can he does.
He's got the option of left-footed McLean at the edge of the area. If he can roll it to him quickly enough, and McLean can then either get a shot or a cross in, that's one option, but it looks like he's going to try and whip this in himself.
Yeah, Cullen does go for the looping ball to the far post. Scotland hook it clear. Fraser with it up and under, and 2 Ireland players go for the same ball, and it's forward to Collins, who should be offside and is, and Ireland should do a lot better than that. Simple communication, Paul.
It is, yeah. Disappointing, really. I think that Ireland haven't had too many set pieces in this game, so when they get them, they need to use them a little bit better than that. You mentioned there it was a difficult angle to work with, but they perhaps could have just done a little bit more of a variation there to try and get the ball into the box. But again, Scotland playing out from the back and Ireland pressing.
Yeah, back in towards Gordon. 63.5 gone, 1 apiece. Still an enjoyable game, this, though. I'm still enjoying watching it.
I am as well. I think that there's a third goal in this game, I think, and initially I thought it was odds on that Scotland were going to get a second goal, take the lead, but just in the last few minutes the momentum has shifted slightly as Bazunu plays a slightly loose ball there to Collins, but he gets there just ahead of Christie, and Ireland in possession on the halfway line.
Yeah, is now into the feet then of Ogbene. He again causes problems with that pace of his. He's got Scotland players falling over left, right and centre. Wide it goes to McLean. McLean running to the edge of the box. He gets into the area, tries to go across the face of goal. It won't reach it. Ogbene, it's a shot coming in from the edge of the area. It hits McKenna in the chest, and Ireland 35 yards out from goal recycle it and go wide. Out to McLean. They've got 4 orange shirts in the penalty area waiting for this. McLean gets it in via deflection. Here at the far post is Parrott, but it's an air shot because Taylor gets to it first, and Taylor keeps the ball in play. And that is as cool as you like, defending from the left back as Ireland concede a free kick. Doherty with a overzealous approach with the challenge.
Yes, leaping up in the air in frustration there, Matt Doherty, but he does crash into to Taylor there, and to Christie, I should say, and he doesn't win the ball. He's coming in from the side there as well, so it seems like it was the right decision. The referee, I think, was still not quite sure what he was waiting for there, but he seemed like he was pointing to his earpiece, like VAR might have wanted to check something. There was never enough in that for a red card, but it is a free kick to Scotland, and in the end they leave it for Gordon, who's probably going to try and send this one long.
Yeah, you'd like to think so. Take his time with it and then just go with a big long stride and smash it downfield, which is exactly what he does, looking for Dykes over the top of him. Is it time for Dykes to be replaced? Is anyone else in Scotland attack you want to see come off?
Well, I think that whether or not Fraser's come on the right-hand side, I'd still think I'd still persevere with Christie because he's got that great ball in, and we'll just break off from that because Ireland on the attack now.
Yeah, they're coming forward. Parrott's going to go for goal, and the less said about that shot, the better. He feels he's been fouled. In fact, it's not Parrott, it's actually Knight, and it's well wide. He wanted a free kick. He
did, yeah. I think he was more hopeful of getting that free kick than being convinced he was fouled. I think it was just an effort that he didn't quite put his foot through. Whether or not bringing on Shay Adams, he's a different kind of forward to Lyndon Dykes, of course. He's not quite as physical, not quite as tall, but he is quick, and that could prove to be a problem for the 3 centre-backs, O'Shea, Egan and Collins. So it may well be as we hit 66, 67 minutes in this game now, that this might be a time where Steve Clarke would consider changing his striker.
Wide down the line off from Ralston, great ball down the line. Now Scotland coming forward, a chance to get some bodies into the box, floated in, Dykes past him, McGinn goes to ground. Ireland could have turned round there. Doherty and a few at the back post didn't get the shout, and I think even though there was a Scotland player coming, he could have let that bounce as Christie's going to take it. He's been told to stop. Is that because of a sub? The referee spotted something.
There was, he had his, there was a very quick VAR check because McGinn was being held very briefly as this ball was put in. I don't think it was enough to say it was a penalty. I think he went down too easily, but fair enough. VAR wanted to see that replay at least once before they let play continue, and it's now Ryan Fraser to take the corner. Yeah,
Ryan Fraser goes across, 67 gone. He floats the ball to the edge of the 6-yard box. Not the worst delivery, but it's headed away by Ireland, and it's into the midfield, and it's a good turn from Christie. Cruyff turned to give himself space. Now with the looping pass wide, he's put a lot on that, asking for Dykes, and he doesn't get to it. Ireland now in possession, and they will win a throw. Taking that a bit quicker and gone to Ogbene to try and start something, but it's 1-1. They don't have to rush, and they go back up the line towards McLean. McLean gets it. Well, I think he wanted an option for a short throw. He dropped the ball twice, so he couldn't do so. And now Ireland go back to Egan, edge of their own box with Collins. To the feet of Doherty. He's worked quite well, this Ireland back line tonight. Collins is very accomplished. Egan's more than solid enough at this level. O'Shea's been the quietest of the 3. Doherty gets caught there by a late challenge from McGinn. I don't know how much was in that, though.
Yeah, it may well be that it's a little bit of an exaggeration there from Doherty, but there was a bit of contact from McGinn, and if it just slows things down and stops Scotland pressing, then it was probably the right thing for Doherty to do there.
Yeah, Ireland coming forward with O'Shea. It's a scooped pass that's a poor one. McGregor in towards McKenna, and now left back Taylor, and it's into the feet of McGregor now, who's powering forward. It's across, then ignored by McTominay. McGinn wide to Fraser. Dykes at the far post, but he's offside. Fraser's going to go for goal. Bazunu saves. It's behind for a corner. Plenty of venom behind that, and just what Ryan Fraser's been sent on to do.
Absolutely, yeah. And Bazunu's not had too much work. Couldn't do too much about the goal. It was a really good header, but this is a good save from Bazunu. He's got to watch that in, and he parries it over the bar.
Yeah, it's a good effort, and it is behind for a corner, and It is Fraser that's gone across to take it. He does have 6 blue shirts, 7 corners to 2 as Scotland take it near post. Flicked onto the far post, Alan get it away, and it's going to be hooked to clear and smashed away for a throw. A big chance there. Doherty gets it clear. Now Paul to take us through to full time.
Thank you very much, Tom. Yeah, that was a good corner kick. It was heading towards the edge of the 6-yard box, looped off the head of McGinn, of all players. Not the tallest, but that doesn't stop him from getting in the box and making a nuisance of himself. Throw on to Scotland now down the right-hand side. It is Ralston. Still plenty of players up after that corner. Wants the long throw here. Ralston gets it into McGinn, and McGinn actually heads it back into play. But that one is, it's not cleared particularly well by O'Shea. Still a chance here for Scotland to win it back, and they do. It's McGinn's ball into the box, aiming at Lyndon Dykes. Good header away there by Collins. And then that's a really pointless foul there from Matt Doherty. And he deserves, I thought he was going to get a booking for that from our referee just because of an accumulation of fouls there. But that's so clumsy from Doherty. He's never, Christie does well to get his body in the way, but Doherty's never going to win it doing that.
No, and I think it's just really needless. I think it's really needless, pretty poor from an experienced campaigner. And why would you give the opposition such a really important set-piece position here?
There's no need for that from Matt Doherty. And now right-footed option in Ryan Fraser, left-footed option in John McGinn for this free kick. Ireland have set up around about just ahead of the penalty spot in terms of their offside. There's 4 players from Scotland to aim for in the box. It's a teasing ball in from Fraser. It gets a touch out. It should be a corner had it not been for the foul inside the penalty area, where it might have even been an offside. It's not going to be an offside. We're just seeing the replay. Looks like Nathan Collins was being bundled to the ground there. The referee spotted that. In the meantime, there's a player down for Ireland. It is Doherty. And we'll wait and see whether or not he's able to play on. But for the time being, he's sat down on the ground and he's going to need some treatment. Still plenty of options, of course. These very big benches that you have in these internationals. And Seamus Coleman returning from injury is one option, of course, in terms of the defence for Ireland if it turns out that he can't play on here, Doherty. We're getting another replay of that Scotland goal, and there's certainly no hardship in seeing this again. It really is a lovely cushion header from Hendry. Doesn't change the fact that he really should have been marked a little bit better than that. But Scotland players just using this for a quick unofficial drinks break as Doherty is still being checked over. Thumb up there from Doherty, so it looks like he should be okay to play on. Which
means he'll come off, because the last 2 players that have put a thumb up of
absolutely, yeah, that's true.
Maybe Ireland are a bit more lenient.
We'll wait and see what Stephen Kenny has in mind. Having a quick word with the 4th official there, and then with his manager as well. But Gavin Bazunu now getting play underway, back underway here with a long free kick up towards Ogbene. That's good work, though, headed away by McKenna. Ireland win it back in midfield here. It's played back towards O'Shea. Under pressure there from McGinn. That's John McGinn all over. Wins the ball with a clean challenge, and now Scotland can go forward. McTominay into Fraser. Back to McGinn, who's got Ireland players all around him, but he's still able to get a ball square out towards the left-hand side. And here is Greg Taylor now. Just didn't have too many options, actually. Looked at Fraser down the left. Didn't fancy the ball down there. Goes back towards the halfway line. Hendry now to Ralston. Into Fraser. Back to Ralston again. Options left and right for him here, but Ireland doing their best just to press. And eventually Scotland in the end don't fancy any ball at all. They go all the way back towards Gordon.
I wouldn't say it's negative, but they don't want to give the ball away, do they? You know, if they try and do something ambitious, you mentioned it earlier when they were losing, that if they go for something a bit gung-ho and give the ball away, it could be 2-0. I think they're trying to manage the game well, and I think it's just a sign of respect they've got for Ireland that they're not willing to take a risk.
Absolutely, and also Scotland know that a draw is enough for them to make sure that they do finish second, and they actually go level on points with Ukraine with 1 game to play. So a draw isn't the worst result for Scotland at all, whereas a defeat, of course, just makes things interesting here as John Egan picks up a yellow card for a foul there on Christie. Christie had the beating of him there, and Egan, the captain there, takes one for the team. Meanwhile, Ireland are preparing a double substitution here. Not sure they're going to get time to make it here before, but it looks like Browne is getting ready to come on, as is Brady. We'll confirm in just a second who eventually could be going off. But here's the free kick for Scotland now. Fraser lifting it. Oh, he's lifted it too much. Straight into the arms of Bazunu. That is catching practice. He gets harder crosses than that in the warm-up, and it's rolled out quickly towards the left-hand side as Ireland trying to get something going. They had that little spell, didn't they, about 5 minutes after Scotland scored, where Ireland just seemed to be getting into the game, but that's pretty much been deflated now.
Yeah, it has, but the main influence they had with that was getting it into Ogbene and letting him get in behind. They've stopped doing it. I don't think they've seen a ball played in behind him for a long time. As I say that.
Well, just as you say that, a ball's played over the top. Ogbene does get there first. He's going to try and chip the goalkeeper. It's over the bar, but long before that even happened, the flag goes up here against the Rotherham United man. And we'll see from this replay here. Yes, he is. He's still trotting back from a previous offside position. It's frustrating, really. He takes another 2 steps back and he would have been fine there.
Yeah, he would. Whether or not he'd have got to it, I'm not sure. But he needs to be a bit more aware, doesn't he? Because that's an outlet for his team. If he's onside, he gives them an option. But obviously, someone's listening to my commentary.
Absolutely.
I don't want to try and sound like I said it, but that was perfect moment.
Absolutely.
But, Parrott's been very quiet. Ogbene's done a massive difference since coming on. Try and use him.
Well, just as you say that, Ireland win it back. A ball was played into Parrott. He's perhaps just lost his way a little bit in this second half. He had a couple of really good link-ups with Obamfemi in the first half. He's just struggled to get into the game in the second half, and he missed that glorious chance as well. But he's pressing now as Ireland tried to win it back high up the field. It's cleared towards the halfway line. Ireland win it back though, and here is Knight now playing it over towards the right-hand side. Options here for Doherty. Tries to take on his man. He gets past him, puts a cross in. Oh, it's a double kiss. That's very unlucky from Matt Doherty. He was looking to at least get the consolation prize of a corner, but as he put the cross in, it deflected off Taylor back onto Doherty, and it's out for a goal kick. So now there's going to be a double change, and Doherty seems to be swearing towards the halfway line when he sees his number go up. He's off to be replaced by Seamus Coleman, who hasn't actually played a game for the Everton first team yet this season. He's been coming back from injury, so he's going to get a chance to play here. And Troy Parrott is off to be replaced by Robinson.
Yeah, I think it's 2 fair changes, really. You've got to try and mix things up, and they're the changes that they've picked, and try and go win the game with 10-15 minutes to go. Malumbi also coming on.
Yeah, so Callum Robinson on for Troy Parrott, and it looks like it's going to be Browne to replace Jason Malumbi. So it's a change in defence, a change in midfield, and a change up front here from Stephen Kenny. And he just he can see that there's still some change to be had out of Scotland here. I think so personally. You said it. I mean, I can't remember when it was. When you said it, I agreed with you. I thought we were going to get to the goal tonight, and I'm a bit annoyed we haven't, because I think it's deserved that moment. That madness, whether it be Hampden Park falling silent, the travelling Irish going wild, or the Scots going berserk. But still, 40 minutes in a game of football is an incredible long time. Yeah, as a lot could still happen in these last, just under 15 minutes, but will still be a bit of injury time to play on top of that. The action on this service continues tomorrow. And well into Monday and Tuesday, of course, with England to come against Germany if anybody wants to punish themselves. But here come Scotland. Here come Ireland now down the right-hand side. Coleman's first touch of the ball is to switch play from right to left, and there's a chance here now for McLean. Puts a ball into the box, and it's not a bad ball at all. He was aiming for Alan Browne. It's cleared towards the edge of the area, and straight away the substitutes making an impact. It was Coleman's pass that started the move, and it was a substitute Browne that was the target. As the ball goes out of play, I think it's going to be out for a throw. Whether it's a throw to Scotland or Ireland remains to be seen. But this was good from Ireland. And I was surprised in McLean, such a left footer, but he cut it onto his right, and it was a good ball as well.
Yeah, I think he caught everyone else by surprise, Paul, to be honest, because he's naturally just all of his career gone down that side. It's so consistent. He's got him into some great areas. He tried something different, a couple of inches either side, and I think it could be 2-1. Or 1-2.
1-2, in fact, yes. As Collins' ball forward is cut out here by Greg Taylor. Ryan Christie certainly been a lot more involved in this second half than he was in the first. And for the time being, Scotland with these 3 changes. Still no sign of changing anything up front as they push forward now with Christie. Having to go back towards the halfway line. Ireland just seem to have their heads up, their tails up a little bit now in these last few minutes. Just trying to put a bit more pressure on Scotland. And now the home side trying to respond here as Christie plays a very ambitious ball into Ryan Fraser, and that's a diplomatic way of saying it's a ball that Fraser's never going to get on the end of. And so we can see Steve Clarke and his assistant John Carver And they seem to be quite animated with each other as well there. Perhaps they're trying to decide whether there needs to be another change. Because, as I say, the draw isn't the worst result for Scotland. And if they push too much, potentially there could be a bit of a risk. But Shay Adams is getting ready to come on.
Yeah, I still think you've got to make yourself competitive. I think they've lost their way a little bit. Dykes has tried to pick up the pieces here and see what he can do.
Yeah, he's a combination of Dykes and McTominay dispossess the Irish midfield, and here is McTominay now at the edge of the area. Finds an option here of Ralston. Ralston's ball into the box, diving header away there from Egan. Second attempt now coming in. It's a left-footed effort from, I think it was McGregor in the end who had the effort, and it's deflected out for a corner.
Yeah, he had to hit it. I think he struggled to get it under control at first, but it popped up. It was going wide. He's got lucky to get a corner.
Absolutely, but from the Ireland defenders' point of view, they weren't going to leave that. They had to try and charge it down. And corner kick now, 79 minutes gone. Is Scotland 1, Republic of Ireland 1. And it's going to be John McGinn. Last corner kick was a short ball. This time it's whipped in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. They're appealing a handball there, and the referee has agreed. It's going to be a penalty to Scotland here. And just trying to see who got the final touch on that. But the referee is now trying to explain to the Ireland players that the penalty has been given, and unless VAR can save them here, Scotland have a penalty.
Well, he was in no hesitation. Yeah, his arms are up.
Oh, they are.
But is it the arm that he's jumped up to try and... I think the referee's seen the left arm. Is he trying to lean on McTominay with the right? It doesn't look good, though, from Browne. It looks like it is Browne anyway. Yeah,
I think it was Browne. We'll just need to see another replay just to confirm exactly who the offender was there. But the referee is now trying to say the confirmation now on our screen that VAR is checking this. So first of all, we can check this as well. Who has got the telling hand on it? It is Browne. I mean, the arms are up, but he's not trying to get the ball with his arm. He's trying to get at Lyndon Dykes, and then he's trying to leap for the ball. The only thing I would say is that left arm is up, and it is a bit of an awkward position there. The check is over, and it doesn't look like the referee's going to have his mind changed here. So, yeah, he's pointed to the spot. It is going to be a penalty.
I just think it just doesn't look natural, does it? It's like he's diving into a swimming pool, sort of.
Yeah.
He's definitely doing what you're saying as the yellow cards come out, and that's for Coleman protesting.
For protesting, yeah. Seamus Coleman is never far away from sticking up for his teammates, and he's only been on the field a few minutes, the Everton man, but he gets a booking. Well, we said there'd be a third goal in this game, and now we've not had a better chance than this to see the third goal. It's going to be Ryan Christie. He's going to try and drill this with the left foot. Referee just instructing Gavin Bazunu there to make sure he's on his line, ideally behind his line, otherwise if he strays over, the penalty could be retaken. But the referee is in position, the goalkeeper is in position, Christie is waiting patiently now for the whistle. 81 minutes gone, and a chance now for Scotland to take the lead. Christie steps up and he sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. Bazunu dies to his right. Christie sends it down the middle, and Scotland lead 2-1.
Yeah, and I know you can often say it, you know, a good penalty is always one that's scored. I don't think it's the greatest strike, this, and it's sent in the wrong way. That's all that matters, and it's a moment of real calmness in a chaotic situation for Scotland. But it takes real guts and determination to step up for your country in that moment. He does it. He does the job. And Bazunu committed himself and went the opposite way. But yeah, if Bazunu goes to his left, you're talking about an awfully taken penalty.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an easy penalty to save if he guesses the right way. But of course, very few goalkeepers are brave enough to stay down the middle. Although I did read a study recently done that statistically a lot more strikes go down the middle than considering how rarely goalkeepers actually stay down the middle of their goal when a penalty is taken. They're showing us the handball again. It's not the most glaring handball from Alan Browne, but it's just the position of his hands. It's a little bit unnatural. It's not like if it was down by his side and it had struck him, then potentially you could say that was an unlucky decision. But there is going to be another change here for Ireland, and it's going to be on that left-hand side. James McLean is off to be replaced here by Robbie Brady.
Yeah, I'd say light for light. McLean's a bit stronger, but both got creative left boots and need to try something else, don't they? As Scotland come forward trying to get a third and just really seal the deal.
Absolutely. McTominay just stepping over Robbie Brady, and then he puts a cross in himself, and the Dykes was diving towards that. It's headed away and then cleared away back into midfield. Good header there from Ogbene to keep Ireland in possession. Have Ireland got enough in them to try and fashion an equaliser here late on? In fact, although in terms of pride, it would be great for them, but really, in terms of positioning in the group, they have to win this game, Ireland, to really make things interesting on the last evening of the fixtures.
Yeah, 2 more changes coming. Even though they've got the lead, they're not interested. McLean and Adams coming on, and I think it's more of a case of shoring this up. You want that fresh legs up front to hold possession. You want that. McLean's so good on the ball to try and keep hold of it.
Absolutely, yeah. Kenny McLean is going to come on into midfield. Just trying to think who he would replace. It'll either be McGregor or McTominay, you would imagine, or potentially maybe even for Christie, just to try and settle things down. But in the meantime, it is confirmation. It is going to be Ryan Christie to be replaced by Kenny McLean, but McLean isn't going to go down the left. He's going to go and sit in the middle of the other 2 midfielders.
Yeah, I think it's a round of applause that Christie deserves. I think he stepped up in this second half. It's not been a fantastic performance, but international, you've got to flash in moments of magic. It's what he's done. And I think we got the goal that we wanted to get. Dykes is coming off. It's not been a great night for him, but he's worked hard. One of those nights where I think tactically they will analyse his performance as a really hard-working, industrious. It's not pretty, though, on the eye for us to watch.
It's not, but as I say, these so many teams now, international and club level, play with 1 striker, so it does mean that perhaps he is a little bit isolated at times, but he's certainly put in a shift in trying to win the ball back for his side. And I think overall Steve Clarke will be pleased with his performances. Here come Ireland now, a quick ball played up towards Ogbene. He wanted to use that pace that he's got, but he just played it a little bit too far, and it's straight into the arms of Craig Gordon.
Yeah, that's where you want him in the channel in those areas. We see a replay again of the penalty. So yeah, it's just not natural. If the more replays you get at the handball, it's a break off because Scotland might have a chance. But it's just desperate enough for me. I think if you're a Scot watching that, you've got to be asking for a pen.
Yes, absolutely. I think if you were an Ireland fan watching that and said, "Oh, it's a bit harsh," I think always try and reverse it and say, if that happened in the other box, would you expect a penalty for your team? And I think you probably would. As the free kick has now been given, looks like it's against Joshua. Well, there's a little bit of physicality here now, and it's McTominay getting involved there with, I think it was Jason Knight, and the referee has got a yellow card in hand, and he's just trying to sort of take a step back and work out what's happening.
It's
here.
poor refereeing. I don't know how he hasn't carded John McGinn. John McGinn has absolutely flown into Cullen, who's got up, and he's demonstrated he deserves a free kick. You know, they've seen some of their players get away here, Scotland, with a few chinders. I love the passion on show. John McGinn's attempted challenge is risky, it's poor, but the referee immediately should, get a hold on that. I know Ireland probably shouldn't chelt back, but they're losing the game. They've seen their teammate avoid a big challenge. I think that's a little bit harsh on Knight, but if the referee doesn't believe McGinn did anything, I'd like to see a replay of it because I thought McGinn was lucky.
Well, in the end of it, McGinn doesn't get a booking for the challenge. It's just McTominay for Scotland getting a booking and Knight getting a booking for Ireland for the way the two reacted to in the melee afterwards. But certainly it was the challenge from John McGinn that instigated it, and that's not the last time I will say that this season. I dare say with John McGinn, he is a player that likes to be physical. Now have a look at this, Tom. A VAR potential red card check here. Referee not allowing this free kick to be taken for the time being, so potentially VAR has spotted what you spotted, and McGinn could be in trouble here. Yeah, unless it's for an arm in the face or a punch, unless it's that. But I just thought McGinn was so reckless and high. They've now waved it off and carried on, and we don't know what it was for. Well, they didn't show us the replay of the entire incident, but the play has resumed. Ireland did have a free kick on the halfway line, which is sent to the edge of the area. Then a second cross coming in. Oh, it's just a little bit too close to the goalkeeper. Disappointing from Josh Cullen, because if he's got that much space on the right-hand side, he needs to pick out a teammate. Yeah, it all fell perfectly for him. The touch took it past the Scotland player. We're seeing a replay here of the McGinn and... this is McTominay and Knight afterwards, and then there's perhaps a little bit more physicality there with Hendry and Cullen as well. Still haven't seen the challenge. Which as I say, you obviously were thinking that that's probably the worst thing of the lot there in that entire sequence. But Ireland in possession now, just got to spring in their step in these last few minutes, and they're pushing forward here. Collins with the ball in over towards the left-hand edge of the 6-yard box. I thought he actually overhit that cross a little bit, but Ralston doesn't want to take any chances. He nods it out for a corner. Yeah, good defending, does the job. If he leaves it, Ireland have got a tap in at the far post for a cross. Brady to take the set piece. It's going to be an outswinger from the left-hand side, and we'll see how this corner kick is going to be taken. Plenty of movement inside that penalty area. There's going to be the referee's just asking for play to be stopped because Nathan Collins was shoved to the ground there. And our referee, Sandro Sharrett, just asking Collins to calm down. I think he was expecting a penalty for that. The referee's not interested. And another player hitting the deck, and it's Collins again. This is getting a little bit tasty now towards the end of this game, but I think the referee is just trying to diffuse it, let this corner kick be taken. It is going to be an outswinger from the left-hand side. And plenty of height on this ball as well as it ends up inside the 6-yard box. Oh, it's a strong header, but it goes wide. It's still kept in play here by Ogbene, who falls to the ground. And was he brought down? The referee says no. And play on here now. Here is McGinn down the left-hand side. It's a good ball from him to pick out Ryan Fraser. Fraser getting into the penalty area, trying an effort. Just trying to get a bit of curl on that low effort, but not enough really to trouble the goalkeeper. And it goes wide in the end. It's a goal kick now for Ireland after all of that. But we've got seconds of regulation play left here now, around 30 seconds before we hit injury time. I'm thinking there's probably going to be 3, maybe even 4 or 5 minutes actually, considering the amount of stoppages we've had in this second half. Referee spotting a free kick in Ireland's favour there as well, inside at the edge of their own box. So the ball sent back towards Gavin Bazunu. He just rolls this to Collins, who's under pressure straight away from Kenny McLean. McLean, fresh legs just on the field a few minutes ago. Ball back with the Ireland keeper Bazunu now. And he sends a long ball over the top, which is partially cleared by McKenna. I say partially because there's still a chance here for Robbie Brady down the left-hand side. Confirmation that we've got 4 minutes of injury time as the ball is into the box and it's flicked in. And that wasn't a bad effort at all there. Looks like the final touch on that was off Alan Browne. That would have been a complete redemption for him there after he was the one who gave the penalty away. But the flick on is sent into the arms of Gordon, who hoists this ball up in the air. Doesn't quite get the distance on it that he'd like, but it still reaches John McGinn, who's really put in a shift this evening. Ball goes off him last. It's going to be a throw to Ireland down the right-hand side. And, well, Seamus Coleman stolen about 10 yards there from where the throw-on should have been taken, but as anyone who's heard my commentary before would know that I always think that's the easiest defence to get away with on a football field. That and time wasting, of course, which every professional footballer is expert at. But here is Coleman now in midfield for Ireland, over towards the left-hand side. Robbie Brady here, trying to play a quick 1-2 there with Callum Robinson. His ball into the box is partially cleared, but Robinson gets a second chance down the left-hand side, trying to dance away from Ralston, and he manages it. Gets a left-footed ball into the box. It's headed towards goal, but it's more like it's nodded towards goal, really. An easy save in the end there for Craig Gordon. Had no problems in saving that. They've got 2.5 minutes to see out this game now, Scotland, and it would put them ahead of Ukraine by 2 points, with just one round of fixtures to play. And here is Ryan Fraser now vaulting away down the right-hand side. He's brought down, and that's going to be a nailed-on yellow card for was that Robbie Brady? It was Robbie Brady with the challenge. I don't think he's got any complaints there because he knows what he's doing. He's trying to take Fraser down, and an easy decision there for the referee. It was quite a lunge from Robbie Brady in the end. But a free kick to Scotland now, and it just means it slows things down in these final seconds as well. So it does make it just that little bit easier here. I think Scotland will feel as though they're in a very comfortable position now. Can't imagine they'll have too much more to do after this. We've just got over a minute to play now. The free kick is taken short. Looks like McGinn's trying to keep this in the corner for as long as he can. He's got 2 Ireland players for company. He's also got Ralston for some assistance there as well, but McGinn trying to do it all by himself. Ralston then trying to win the ball back for Scotland before it's eventually cleared out. And it's out for a throw down the right-hand side. Options here for Scotland. The Scotland fans now up on their feet. They feel as though the job's been done now. And with a minute of injury time to play, don't really see how, unless Ireland could win the ball back immediately here and send it up the field, they're not going to really have enough time to try and get a late equaliser. It's been a very entertaining game though, And a bit of afters here as well, as looks like it was Jason Knight, who's been involved in a few fracas this evening, just bumping into Ryan Fraser there. Steve Clark, always pretty stoic, don't get too much emotion out of him, but he'll be very pleased with the way his side have recovered in this game, because they looked a little bit adrift in the first half. But they have produced a much better performance here, and arms up there from John McGinn as he's still working in that corner, and he's actually won his side a corner kick this time. So with just seconds now, just 10 seconds of the 4 minutes of injury time still to play, it's a long conversation here now between McGinn and Fraser as to where this corner kick is going to go. It's not going to go anywhere. They've just rolled it a couple of yards forward, and Ireland then win themselves a throw. But we've had the 4 minutes of injury time now. Sandro Shara, our referee, looks at his watch. Robbie Brady beckoning his teammates to get forward. He's going to try and send this throw as long as he can, but he's not going to have enough time, and the full-time whistle goes, and it's all over here at Hampden Park. An entertaining game between Scotland and the Republic of Ireland, but it is Scotland that go on to win by 2-1 from myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, and my colleague Tom Hill. Thank you very much, and do join us again soon.